Okay, Siman Reish Chof Beis. Birchas Hidoas Hatov V'Hora. Says the Mechaber, Al Shmuos Shehin Tovos. If a person hears good news, lo levado, just for himself, Mevarech Shechianu, V'mein Tovos lo v'la'acherim, Mevarech HaTov HaMeitiv. That's the rule. Hear good news for yourself, it's Shechianu. If it's going to be good for other people as well, then it's HaTov HaMeitiv, which is a little bit what I was just saying before. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Koden Aleph. Now you got to be sure that you've heard it from a faithful, reliable person. And this person is not just hearsay, it's not Chinese whispers, but that person who you heard it from saw it himself. But if you just had a rumor, of which you have to make but the person you heard it from is not reliable, or the person you heard it from didn't see it himself, then lo yevarech. It's got to be a properly reliable source. So too, if Rachmanis on a person had a burglary and you heard good news, the police tell you they've caught the fellow, or you've heard that he's been arrested or something, it's not quite ready to make the bracha yet. You've got to make the bracha when you get your goods back. Remarkable halacha. Someone who, because he's in dire financial straits, marries a woman for wealth. Yeah, she's a wealthy woman, and he's not really that excited about it. Right, it's a double bracha. Yeah, says the Mogam Hashem. Yeah, nowadays we sort of don't make these brachas. Also, whether these halachas apply. It's interesting. The halacha is Rachmanis if a person loses a parent, the halacha is that you make daino emes, but also the halacha is you make shechionu. Why shechionu? Or Yerusha. Because a person now loses a father, whatever you get. So you make two brachas, similar to what we're saying here. But the Maisa no one does it. The Maisa we make daino emes, we don't. So I heard once from a Reisman, he said that the Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky was asked this. He said our minig is to forget to make it. Yeah, to forget to make the shechianu. Yeah. But Rabbi Reisman said, he goes, what's the deeper understanding? He says, an Adam Godel is sophisticated enough to hold different emotions, right? He's lost a parent, so he's broken. So you say dynamis, but he's also able to compartmentalize, as Dayan always used to say, that he's also able to understand there's an element of simcha there, and you can make both brachas. Nowadays we haven't got that emotional maturity, sophistication that we can balance those two. It's a bit like this Purim, yeah, it's Purim. On the other hand, look what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. It's very hard to balance the two. So it takes an Adam Godel to be able to navigate that. That's really one thing. Anyway, Shemuos, Sif Cotton Base, says the Mishnah Berurah, Nokat Loshen Rabim, because the Mechaber says, Al Shemuos Shein Tovos Lo Levadim Var Shechianu. Why Loshen Rabim? Lahidos Sheim Lahiros Sheim Shama Kama Shemuos Bebas Achas Taile Brocha Achas. There's lots of good news, Mr. Hashem Mulvas. Yeah, then Brocha Achas, then one Brocha will suffice. So if it's just for you, Mevarch Shechianu, says the Mishnah Berurah, Hainu Kashiyesh Simcha Me'ashmu, where you have simcha from that good news. V'chein lehepuch Da'inemes Kashiyesh Tsar Me'ashmua. If you look at number 5. He says, interestingly, the Geder Shmua Mesameches. What is the Geder of good news? You're very happy. It's not just that your football team won, right? It's got to be something which which maybe it is actually, I don't know. But there is something that you're very samach beharbe. Hein simcha shel mammon, hein shel simcha acher. It's got to be a massive financial windfall or something like that. Or mammon toli hatova lefi hashiras v'anyasa, and that's all subjective. So for some people that is a windfall, and for some people that's pocket money, that's change. So it's very subjective on a person's situation. Base says the Mechaber al shmus rois. On bad news, Mevarich Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Dayan HaEmes. No Mishnah Berurah. Gimel. Chayiv Adam Levarich Al Hara B'das Shleima of Nefesh Chafetza. A person has got to try and make the bracha of bad news with das shlema nefesh chafetza, with proper kavana. Kederach shemavarich b'simcha latova, in the way that a person can happily make that when it's good news and genuinely, so too when it's bad news. Ki hara la'ovri Hashem he simchasa v'tovasam, because at the end of the day, for an oved Hashem, bad news in a way is good. Why? Because if he accepts mi'avo, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given to this person, nimse shemekabolos ra'zu, whoever does Hashem, through you accepting this difficulty, that is part of your avodas Hashem. Shehi simcha, and underlying it, avodas Hashem is a simcha. If you think about it, Yirmiyahu Novi, he composed Eicha, but to do, and that's all in nevuah. To be b'nevuah, you've got to be b'simcha. So how can you say Eicha Yoshva Badod and see b'simcha? It's the same thing, because you're doing the Ratzon Hashem is what is Mesameach. That's the bottom line. And Ratzon Hashem, he is now in communion with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's nevuah. Says Mishnah Berurah, Sif Katan Dalet, Kederach Shemevarach, Ki be'emes Kol HaYisurin. This is tremendous musa. Bein beguf, bein b'momen. Whatever affliction a person has, whether it's physical, financial, hu hakol kapara alavonos. It atones for a person's sins. That he won't have to have worse things in the olam ha'emes. Shesham ha'inish hu harbe yesegol, because there is much worse. So Chiddush Medrash, like the Medrash says, Yitzchak tova Yisurin. Yitzchak Avinu wanted Yisurin. He understood the power and the detail of the Midas Hadin. David HaMelech said the same expression. For Tova Ba'atzmai, Yisurin, he wanted, he desired Yisurin Kadesh Yinokim Mikol V'Kol, and he won't have to worry anymore. He became blind in his old age. So you see that with Yitzchak, it was a fulfillment of that desire that he wanted no kaparas. If you look at number 9, so a person gets a bad peckle, something happens to him, and he introspects and he says, well, I didn't do anything wrong, my slate is clean. Pamim Rabbis Yisurin Boin Heim Lenisoyin Im Yamud Boim LeKabbalah Bi'avo. It's a nisoyin. Is he going to accept them bi'avo? V'shul levatzim avodos avurim. He's not going to spoil his avodas Hashem. Shekein derech Kodesh Baruch Hu shemenases hatzadikim b'nisyonis kedei lahagdil escham, to elevate their schar. Let's just finish Dalet. It's a very short one. V'vorech al ha'tova v'ha'tova meitiv. On the good news, you make ha'tova meitiv. Afal pisha yorish shema yovel l'deram menu. Even though you're worried that this good news might subsequently lead to some bad. Kagoin shemotza metzia, he found a big windfall. And the authorities may take everything that he has. So it turned out to be bad. Still, he makes the bracha. There's a flood on his field. Even though when the flood passes, it's actually saturated and it's good for the field, still, right now, it's bad, and he makes ha'tova meitiv. He makes a dayan hoimes. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Katan Hey, Alpha Pisha Yore. So he's worried that some bad may come from this windfall. We can't start looking into the future. We don't know. Kodesh Baruch Hu runs the world. Don't worry too much. We just have to serve Kodesh Baruch Hu as best we can. For example, he finds a metzia. They'll take everything that he has. He's got people in the home. And that's why you make ha'tova meitiv. Okay, say that. What did you do?